Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the SMB Talks. Today's episode 12. I started SMB Talks in May with one of my friends, Manu, who is the CEO of Gutch. Right. So I've been meeting a lot of fantastic people via this show. A lot of them have become my friends. I have had Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi, who is one of the leading stand-up comedian in the country. I have had Annette France, Adam Toporek, who are CX influencers. Lot of people from a lot of different walks of life. So I am super happy to be the host of this show, and uh, I want to be uh, as much as possible. I want to bring interesting people on the show, right? So I'm just waiting for my guest today, and right. So I'm super excited for today's episode. He is a little bit delayed, but I don't mind that. So today, uh, I have a good friend of mine coming on the show. He is none other than Abhishek Mazumdar. Uh, I don't know whether you know him or not. He is one of the best people in the media industry, right? So he recently appeared in one of the LinkedIn ads where he was part of In It Journey campaign, where he is still doing. He is connecting with people who have lost job during COVID-19, and he started interacting with them and giving them advice. So he has been featured in LinkedIn ads, right? So he is he's an Indian media entrepreneur. He's the co-founder and CEO of The Logical Indian, right? Logical Indian is a independent, public-spirited digital media platform. He has built it independent, bootstrapped, and it's a profitable media company. It's a testimony of Abhishek's profound and exceptional entrepreneurial abilities. With over 10 million subscribers across its digital assets, the digital publication is largely known for its hand-picked coverage of attention-worthy news and issues. And they have a fantastic, impactful social storytelling as the basic theme, right? So the platform, it is a much appreciated platform. In the past few years, they have executed a series of social campaigns, etc., etc. So they have been a flag bearer of new age journalism with their primary focus on developmental issues. You all know that news channels these days, they are the place which people avoid. But Logical Indian is a place where you will see a lot of developmental issues being spoken about. So coming back to Abhishek, he has been a key contributor to multiple leadership and startup summits, several UN panel discussions, policy and media consultation, and he has represented India in several international forums in the capacity of one of the finest media entrepreneurs running a sustainable media business. As a first generation entrepreneur, he has pledged to mentor and upskill young and budding entrepreneurs. That's why he is going to be on the show. There's a slight delay for him to join, but his work has been nothing short of stupendous. It's fantastic. And he has done a lot of work in the media space, right? So I am just waiting for him to join in. 1 second. Right. So thelogicalindian.com. So I'm excited. I have curated a set of 10, 12 questions for him so that you guys who want to be entrepreneurs in the future, or you want to be a media entrepreneur, or you want to grow up in your career, I'm pretty sure Abhishek will have a lot of snippets, lot of tips and tech insights for him to provide to you, right? So let's wait for a couple of minutes so that Abhishek can come in. So as I mentioned, let me just go back and talk about the SMB talks, right? The reason I started this show is to bring on inspiring people like Abhishek, Dr. Jagdish, etc., so that we guys, including myself, we can take inspiration out of their journey and their future plans, right? So I have got people coming. I have people lined up for August. I have interesting young entrepreneurs coming on board who are taking on Uber, Ola, etc. lined up. And I also have an educator, an Indian educator who is the epitome of personal branding on various social media channels. She will be on the show. I have another social media influencer, global social media influencer coming on the show. I don't want to give out names because you guys will expect it. And if fingers crossed, if something happens, I don't want to disappoint you guys, right? So I am just waiting for him. He has faced with a power cut. Apparently, we live in India, so power cut is possible any moment, right? So let's wait for it. And meanwhile, I can see there's Rahul coming in, there's Ankit coming in. Thank you guys for joining in. And if you have any questions for Abhishek, you can just comment it. I will note it down and I'll ask him when he's here. Apart from the questions I have added, he has given a couple of questions to me so that he wants to, because see, I'll tell you what, journalism is a tricky subject these days, right? Because we all get influenced by the news which we are uh, feeding our minds with. If it is negative news or positive news, it's up to us, right? So journalism plays a very, very big role, according to me, in the development or the molding of the current society, right? The reach of media is too high. We have smartphones which peddle us news every second of the day, right? So there's Google News, there is a lot of other news channels, there are apps which serve news in short formats, even for quick consumption, right? So that's why I thought Abhishek will be the right guest for us here, so that I know there are a lot of youngsters who watch my show. So I want them to listen to him and understand what true journalism is or true media companies, right? So I'm hoping he will join anytime soon. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions for me or any of the guests who have come or any of the discussions which have happened on the SMB Talks, please let me know. So Abhishek is a good friend, and I was so happy to see him in the LinkedIn ad because I've never had any known person of mine appearing on television in an ad, especially for a company like LinkedIn. It was such a I was super excited, super pumped. I messaged him immediately. I saw you on the TV, and it was fantastic, right? So he has already spoken to, I don't know, thousands of people already who have lost job because of this COVID-19 pandemic. He has been helping them get back on the horse and get back on the journey of hunting jobs, etc. So it has been fantastic so far, right? So I'm just hoping he will share some good insights today so that we can all take something good today, right? Otherwise, I'm hoping everybody is doing fantastic and everybody is doing okay during this pandemic. Uh, just a minute. Right. Let me, since we have some time to pass, let me just do a quick recap of this journey. This is my 12th episode. So I never thought, when I started it, it was just a discussion on one of my friends, Manu Sri Kumar, who was the CEO of Gutch, right? So they have a fantastic video marketing, video creation team who does videos for small and medium businesses, startups, etc., etc. So we were just discussing, and I was thinking that why don't I create a platform where small and medium businesses can come and talk about their product, right? While talking about their product, that entrepreneur, obviously any entrepreneur these days will have an interesting story to tell us, right? So that story is what got me into the idea of starting this show. So we had Manu, a fantastic journey. He started his startup with a video series called Denture Capital. They started producing videos about startups. Then from that to a big company which has become a marketplace for all your video marketing needs, right? Gutch.me. Then we had uh, uh, Ankit. Ankit was the CEO and co-founder of Aritic, a marketing technology platform from India, which is taking the likes of HubSpot, Marketo, etc., etc. They had. I remember one point from that discussion. Their tool has more than 900 features which a marketer can use to promote their products, right? So that was mind blowing because they are an enthusiastic team of developers who kept on building features, and finally it has evolved into such a suite of products which has more than 700 to 900 features. Fantastic, right? Then I had Arbab Usmani, who was the founder of Upskill, who is on a mission to drive digital marketing trainings for the younger generation. He want to create a uh, next generation of digital marketers who are gonna learn digital marketing in the right way and implement it in the right way. So he is focusing on the psychology plus the marketing aspect of the science, right? So he was here. Then I had Dr. Jagdish Chaturvedi, who is an entrepreneur. He wears multiple hats, right? According to him, he doesn't wear multiple hats because he all of that is his passion, right? He's a stand-up comedian, sought after stand-up comedian in India. He is doing a lot of stuff during this pandemic. I saw other day he launched an initiative where if you want to send a message from a celebrity, like a stand-up comedian like Naveen Richards or Aditi Mittal or Baba Sehgal, if you want to send a message to anybody who will uh, who will get cheered up by that, you can via his platform. Hi, you can book that session, and you can those celebrities will send a message to that person. So he started it for healthcare workers, but you can send it to anybody for that matter. So he is a fantastic stand-up comedian. I love his all the series he has done so far. He is a fantastic healthcare innovator. He has got several patents under his name and things like that, right? Then I had Annette Franz, the top customer experience influencer on my show. Such a fantastic person. She shared a lot of insights about customer journey and the role of customer experience and communication during times like these. Right, so that was a fantastic session for me because I learned a lot. She told that how companies should focus on good communication rather than over communicating in the wrong way during pandemic and things like that, right? Then I have Alan Toporek, who is another CX thought leader, who spoke about how small and medium businesses should focus on customer experience, right? So that was again another mind-blowing session because when you talk about customer experience, it's always about enterprise level discussion, right? And it's kind of difficult for SMB to think about customer experience becoming their key differentiator. But Adam busted that myth. He proved that SMBs also should focus on customer experience. It's very important. So that was a fantastic discussion there, right? Then I had Naina Hiranandani, right? She is from Sirf Coffee, the fantastic bespoke dating service for all the singles out there, right? If you are a single boy or a girl or a man or a woman, you should check out surfcoffee.com because they have set procedures of getting you out of singlehood. If you're looking for the right partner, surfcoffee.com is the place. Very bespoke. They will find you the right partner, right? So without further ado, I have Abhishek here finally. So let me bring him on. Hey, Abhishek.
Hello, Vivek. Oh, I'm
It's so
so
good to
sorry. I'm
see you.
so sorry for
No worries.
uh
I think people got
my
bored of
pleasure.
me speaking so much.
Oh, no, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everyone
No
who
worries.
have joined
No
the
worries.
session. Actually, I just got a new laptop today, and I didn't realize that StreamYard requires I mean Chrome and Firefox, and it doesn't work on Safari. So I've been
Right.
using Safari since morning. I thought, okay, I would just download Chrome, and so that took me some time. I'm
No
sorry
worries. No
for
worries.
everyone who have joined in
No worries.
for the
Hey,
delay.
I'm super excited you are
Perfect.
here. Finally. Right. So the sole reason I started the show is, Abhishek, I've already told them. Let me repeat it for you. I want to bring people like you on the show so that everybody can draw some inspiration out of your journey, the kind of work you
Okay.
do, and things like that. So I have curated a set of questions for you, which I'll shoot at you one at a time. You can take it up like that. So shall we start?
Sure, sure, Vivek.
All right. So let me go back a little bit back
Absolutely,
towards
absolutely,
the
absolutely,
start, right?
absolutely. I hope
So
I'm quite audible.
yes, yes, perfectly audible, right? So you started
Okay,
off your career
perfect,
as a
perfect.
customer service before your entrepreneurial stint, right? So how did this entrepreneurial journey kickstart?
Yeah, amazing, amazing. And you know what, Vivek? Like, probably this is the first time someone have ever asked me this question. Not, and I'm pretty sure that not many are aware of that fact that I started my professional career as a call center agent, and
Right,
in the customer service, I mean, basically in a BPO.
right,
And so when I look back, I draw quite a few reflections, and I certainly realize that that there are so many things which that phase of my life, 4.5 years I have spent in a BPO, in a couple of companies, in my first two companies out there. uh, that phase actually have helped me learn a lot. And there's I when I reflect upon, I certainly realized that, which I didn't realize when I was working, that you gain so many insights and so many understanding working in a working in a BPO, which probably is difficult to which actually basically helps you as an entrepreneur, because when attrition and this and that are like your everyday affair in a BPO industry.
right.
And when you start
Absolutely.
up, so I certainly feel that I have a lot of credit due there. So yeah, so when you say how did the transition happen, so I do not see exactly it as a transition, but rather uh, the, what do you call it, like the uh, kida of starting up with something has,
Right.
I didn't have a better word for that. So that had always been there since the college days,
Okay.
in Bangalore.
Right.
It's just that when the college completed, and obviously you do not know, as a first generation entrepreneur, I mean, you actually look around for a job. And I sucked big time in academics. So I, BPO was my only option to join, and to make sure that
Right.
I'm not no longer dependent on my family, and
Right.
to get a job. So I used to work in the BPOs, in the night shift. And I had a quite couple of year backs in my college. So I used to do my
Right.
college in the day shift, right? So it was almost a
Right.
24 hours lifestyle for 2 years of my life, when I used to, which
Okay.
actually had an overlap between my like college and work life then. Uh, so that was the time when I actually, because okay, yeah, I think we were lost in between.
Yeah.
So try to discover myself, that what are the things we should do. And so it so happened that, because see, news is something which I had always been, I had always been a avid news reader and a news follower. And that all the credit goes to my parents, because घर में जब TV चलता है, तो it's always
News.
news, right? So since my childhood and school days, the only thing in the television set which has been on is like news and nothing else. So that's how it gets imbibed, right? So there's an interesting story. So it so happened that in 2013, so I have a home in Calcutta. I was born and brought up in Arunachal Pradesh, but like I'm originally from Calcutta. So I went during April, May to Calcutta. And my house was getting constructed then.
Okay.
So my mom was there. Mom is a single parent. My mom was there. So happened that me and mom, get we were just logged in a home, aram say 2 3 months. We were there, and all I could watch is the news.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you know what happened in 2006, when I came to Bangalore for my college. uh, since then, I practically lost touch of television, because then when you are in college, you like newspaper, mobile phone, internet, and everything, and you do
Right,
not watch. So from 2006 to 2013, uh, there hardly has been a time where I could actually sit and watch television practically, right?
right,
So
right,
this 2 3 months of my life in Calcutta, where I had to watch television, because like for some reason my internet connection like wahan pe was not that great.
right,
Wi-Fi was not at home, and 2G, I mean the 3G, 4G was not that great. So I had to watch television, and
right.
obviously news as my favorite subject. So that was kind of a trigger, which was like, oh God, what is this television? Like, is it really news? And when you know, because all these years in my college, I what read newspapers, magazines, and all those things, and books and all, and you watch television. This is the content which is still being served in television. So that was a thought, like kind of a seed, you can say, which was there. And I came back to Bangalore, and I just vented it out to Anurag and said, hey Anurag, this there's and one of my college friends, close friends with is my one of our founding members, Sanish. So both of them, I just had a discussion that what, this is something we really need to do something about it. Can we do?
Right.
So that thought was there, and in 2014, actually, that's when we started, and going by that one quote of Mahatma Gandhi, which says like, be the change you want to see in the world, right? So if there's anything which we can do about bringing change in the news and space, so there's no point cribbing about it, because till today people are cribbing about what's being served in television as news. So then
Absolutely.
started up with the Logical Indian as a Facebook page, and then eventually it graduated, and here we are today.
Fantastic, fantastic. What a journey that might have been, right? All right.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so I know pretty much that everybody knows what logical Indian is, but I want to hear from you. If I don't know logical Indian, how will you explain it to me?
Ah, great. I think simply put, the Logical Indian is a platform which covers handpicked newsworthy stories, and that's a word which I want to underline. Right, I would like to underline newsworthy stories, because not everything which is being served in the name of news is actually news or even information which requires your attention. So
Right,
we really serve handpicked stories, cover handpicked stories and newsworthy stories, which we feel deserves the attention of a rational generation, which should deserve,
right.
the attention of a rational generation, because it's only what you are served you consume, right? So
Absolutely.
it is a responsibility to serve responsible content, because whatever you serve, people out there they are going to serve. They're going to consume whatever you serve. So it is your
Right,
responsibility to serve responsible content and information.
right. Fantastic. That's nice. So I've read it that you have built the logical Indian as a democratized and approachable media. What does that mean?
All right. When we say democratized and approachable, first of all, when you say democracy, it's or democratized, it's not just the external. It's both. It's internal.
Yeah.
Within. So I always say this, that when you say when you mean a company, every company has two facets, right? One facet is the product which the customers see, right? And the other facet of your company is the organization which builds the product, right? Is the
Right.
people, those who build the product, right? So democracy, democracy or democratized culture or approach is on both the front, as a product and also as an organization. uh,
Right.
on the product front, it is certainly when we say that non-partisan is a more appropriate word rather than democratized proverb, where our only purpose is to cover stories which deserve your attention, right? And there's no point, because we know what's problematic in today's media, right?
Yep.
People really want to, people look up to a source and information without having to, think about सही बोल रहा है कि नहीं, गलत बोल रहा है कि नहीं, अरे ये तो वो है, ये तो वो है, and all those things, right? So being non-partisan is actually what being democratic at this point, and it's a huge responsibility. And on an organizational front, certainly as a newsroom, where you build an independent newsroom, right, which is not governed by the top bosses, where the editors do not fear, no, 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 this is not what we can cover, or this is what we should cover. Where the editors are completely 100% completely independent, and with no intervention. And I personally make sure that in our culture, work culture, there is, because when you have your SOPs ready, and when you have your editorial policies and style guides and everything prepared, literally there should not be any intervention of the senior leadership into your daily editorial operations. That gives much more independence to any newsroom leader, or head of the newsroom, or team, the entire newsroom, to work independently. And that's what with democratized, I would say what elaborates that. And so yeah. And did I miss on anything?
No. That's absolutely. You got it correctly, actually. Because
Okay,
I
I
was
think that the other word which you used was approachable, right? Democratized
approachable.
and approachable, right? So approachable is something, like, just to touch upon that. Approachable is something, Vivek, which what we have always maintained, because approachable is where people find you accessible and approachable. So even on Twitter or anywhere, if you find, if there is, if there are any if there are any concerns, issues, protests, or any injustice going on, it is very common for us. We see that people tag us on Twitter, that, hey, Logical Indian, can you cover this? Can you do this? And we really take that effort to cover that and hear them out. And you would see a pattern that it is such big a news, or it is such a worthy issue that which is not being highlighted. Now it has been, people are now used to tagging us. Tagging essentially means bringing it to our notice, where you have the other brands like the Times of India's, or the Hindustan Times, or the big legacy brands there. So
Right.
people do not find them approachable. Now we have built it consciously because we hear them out, right? We hear them out, and that kind of also comes from my background of customer service and customer support. So I remember, there was a time in our early years when we were a team of four team of four with only two focusing on your everything else, and other two just responding to messages and emails and tags, and like that's it.
Wow.
So that's what has built the community, right? Because right now, if you see a lot of affinity and engagement, how that
Right.
translates, right? That translates through that effort. So
Right.
with a team of four, 50% of your team just taking care of responding to you, acknowledging your messages and things you want us to cover, or issues you are facing. That's what we mean by approachable, and we would always strive to keep ourselves as accessible and as approachable to everyone. I mean, to the audience.
Right. I think I've not seen your Facebook page, but I've seen your Twitter community. It's pretty active. Around 87K is your community strength at the moment, I guess. And it's pretty good, actually. But I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know any other place where I can tag and let them know about an issue which is worth discovering. I don't know whether anybody will be that approachable in this space.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
very
as early as like just today, I mean, just a couple of hours back, I saw a person having a concern with a Flipkart customer support, and then tagging us saying, "Logical Indian, can you please look at it?" Right
right,
now,
right.
so if Logical Indian is coming on your mind when you are in conversation with Flipkart, and Flipkart probably for some reason not being able to resolve your issue, and Logical Indian comes up your mind, and that's very frequent. Like, that's very frequent. It can be like a college issues and everything. So that's what we mean, because we report to our readers, right? So we have to listen to them, and that's how you build a brand for that matter.
Fantastic, fantastic. Actually, that's a very valid point. Since I come from the marketing background, that's like
Yeah.
music to my ears. Right. So if I have to ask you, what is the USP or USPs of the Logical Indian? If you can share maybe one or two, which how much ever you think is the USP of Logical
Mhm.
Indian, please.
Yeah. So I would certainly say that when you say what's unique about us, right,
Yes.
or what's the unique selling point, um, I would rate point number one to be uh, newsworthy information or newsworthy stories, right?
Right.
Because if you observe or if you're already aware how the media business work, you may certainly see a very reputed publication, probably breaking a news of, doing an brilliant investigative story and, breaking a news out, covering a story or whatever it is. But you'd set the same publication if you go by their, schedule for the day. As the you'd also see the same publication posting content on, like, let's say, entertainment or Bollywood or this gossip and that and this, right? You'd see the same publication doing the same thing, right? Because that's how typically, as of now, the media business is structured, the media organizations are structured, and it's not their fault, because
Right.
entertainment, gossip, Bollywood, cricket is where the cash cow is, right?
Right. Right.
So that's what you need to do to survive, right?
Right.
But when you look at us in our you know last 6 years of our journey, of 5 formal years, because first year and a half we were just figuring it out, what and all those things. In the last 6 years, or since inception, not even a single piece of content we have covered on entertainment or Bollywood or
Right.
celebrity or whatever you call it, right? Because that doesn't go by our vision of covering newsworthy stories, because we do not find that to be newsworthy, right?
Right.
That is really not newsworthy. That's entertainment, right? Right. These are
Right.
two different words. Right? That's entertainment. Right? That's not newsworthy information, right? So that is a huge risk, right? Huge risk. Uh, where you take a stand, and it comes with enormous strength and conviction to
Right.
stand by it for since inception for 6 long years, that you sacrifice on the cash cow,
Right.
because that's not what you believe in. That's not what you believe in, right? So we
Right.
hope that at some point it would translate, because our readers have been following us and observing us and reading us, and have been appreciating the kind of work and content we are producing, that would translate someday. So that I would say, certainly point number one being covering newsworthy stuff only, right? Now
Right.
again, that can be debatable, because we have our own definition of what's newsworthy and what's not, right?
Absolutely.
But certainly, it would not be that varying for that matter. And
Right.
secondly, I would say, Vivek, that uh, you know uh, listening out to the audience, right? What actually matters to the people, being public spirited, staying public spirited, right? So when you intend to stay public spirited, you naturally become non-partisan, because it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. People are happy if it doesn't matter if it is that party or that group, or that person or that if you are unemployed, or if someone in your family is unemployed, you're going to be as pissed off as with party A or with party B, or whatever the party is on power, right?
Ab-
So
Absolutely.
public spirited is the point. If it matters, if it matters. So I think the second USB, I would say, is staying and being and striving, um, to continue to stay public spirited, and ensuring the issues and what matters to the larger community is being covered and is being translated. And I think third, but not as per priority, but it's just the third thing, what I believe, and it's important as an USP, that we do not recognize ourselves just as a media platform, and that essentially comes because uh, you know. founders and the founding team, none of us come from a media or a journalism background. Right? We are all
Right.
engineers and dropped out engineers. So we are here to solve a problem. We are here to solve a problem and not run. And I believe that that helped us a lot. Obviously, that brings in its own challenges, but that helped us a lot, helps us a lot as well, because we do not have a vision of just covering a story. And we that's not our end goal, right? Our
Right.
end goal is to bring in change in a society, because this is something which I always say, especially to our newsroom and editorial team members, whenever they join us in the induction, in the orientation, that what bothers me is that I'm pretty sure that if you go back, let's say, I would say that I'm pretty sure that in 1947 there would be some, considering chalo, we just became independent in 1947. So I'm pretty sure that if you trace back in 1947, you would certainly find there must be some journalist who must have covered a story on let's say manual scavenging, right, and must have won the XYZ journalism award of the year, or journalistic award of the year, or story of the year award, right? In 2020 also, there is a journalist, I'm pretty sure, who is getting the journalist of the year or story of the year award, um, by covering a story on manual scavenging, a wonderful story, right? Which tells me, if I extrapolate, which tells me that 70, 75 years later as well, there will be a journalist who will be getting a story of the year award for covering a story on manual scavenging. Then how on earth we as individuals are solving a purpose, right? We have a limited time of 60, 70 odd years on this earth, right? So
Right.
so how do we, so our broader vision as an USP is not just to restrict ourselves as with just covering stories. And I'm not blaming any journalists in that, because every stakeholder in an ecosystem has their own role, right? So but
Right.
what is our USP is that we are not just contented by covering a story. We want to take it further until a change is brought. And we have, I take pride in saying this, that in the past 6 years of our journey, we were able to do this through, and all thanks to digital media as a platform, we were able to bring at least a couple of policy level changes, right? And overall, there are 8 to 9 campaigns, big campaigns, which we did, with which we were able to bring significant changes, out of which 2 are policy level changes, through our platform, right? So that's what we strive for, and that's our USP is, right? So it is not just media; it's media plus, allowing you to take action. And that's how Anurag has coined a term for us as actionable media platform. I'm not sure if it already exists, but Anurag likes to use this word, actionable
That's
media
very nice.
platform.
It makes total sense, right? Because what I'm hearing is, right, a person with a real vision of his life, or a company with a vision which has a meaning to it, right? To make
Yeah,
change, to bring change.
yeah.
That's fantastic. Right. So now I wanna again take you back a little bit. You completed 7 years now, right? So I want to know a little bit. You already mentioned that you started it off as a Facebook page, etc., etc. So I want to know how this journey was. Maybe you can touch
Uh-huh.
upon a couple of milestones or something, not the entire thing,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
whatever you want to share about the journey.
Sure. Oh, all right. I didn't realize it has been so long already. Uh, see, briefly, the journey is a roller coaster, right? And I'll tell you, like, when I reflect, probably I'd be able to, draw an analogy, or let's say a metaphor, to help you understand what I feel about this journey,
Right.
uh, what I felt all throughout until till date, right, about the journey. And I just shared this with my mom, because my, like, mom, at times she's like, I don't know what you guys do. You could have just worked, and what is this, that, and all those things. So when I help, so at times I open up to her and tell her. So this is an analogy which I use to help my mom understand the challenges, right, and how it feels like. So it actually feels like, you are, let's say, you are a non-medical student or a non-medical guy, right? You are thrown through an operation theater, right? And people have shut the door out, right? You cannot come out of that operation theater. And there you have a patient lying on your bed at the operation theater, right? And you are a non-medical guy, right? And you are provided with all the tutorials, let's say your MBBS course or videos or instructions, everything is available, and you are
Right.
asked to, grasp it, learn it, and fix that guy real time,
Right.
right? That's what it felt like, right? Because as a first generation entrepreneur, it is really difficult. Right now I'm much more confident than I was 6 years back, right? Learned from the mistakes and all, right? But at that time when you are building it, you have a responsibility, you have a team, right? And you are only as good as your team, right? So it is a huge
Absolutely.
responsibility to ensure that your organization is built, and the formative years are always the most challenging ones, right? And you do not know how to go about it, right? So you learn, you acquire, trial and error. Oh, and so certainly it's a roller coaster.
Right.
And so, briefly, 2014 we started as a, like, technically it's December 2013, I think 24 December 2013. So 2014 is what I consider. So till 2014 and 2015 mid 1.5 years, we were just as a Facebook page. But I was still working in the BPO, and Anurag was in his college back then. So yeah, so I think 1.5 years later we had to decide that how should we take it ahead, because by then we had significantly built a community and people had faith, and we also got a lot of encouragement that, or affirmation that what we were doing is probably worthy and people are appreciating what we are doing and how to take it forward. Then figuring out the business model has always been the most challenging, because till
Right.
date digital media publications are struggling. Media is a very tough business to strive, and I'm sure you're aware of it, right? So
Right.
figuring the business model out so that you do not compromise, you do not have to compromise with any of your values, right? And it's not just your product values; it is your organizational values also, what you believe in, right?
Right.
So it cannot be summed up in one session, Vivek. So
Yeah,
we can
I
catch
love
up
that.
sometime offline.
Sure, sure. I love that analogy, and I'm glad that the patient is healthy and surviving.
I'm glad, right? I'm glad. And it so happened that that patient happens to be your baby. So,
I know, I know. You turned it quickly. Right. So, no discussion about the logical Indian is complete without the name Anurag. You
yeah.
already mentioned that name at least 20 times already. I want to hear more
Certainly,
about him and what kind of role does he play.
certainly. So, Anurag, you can say, yeah, Anurag is my co-founder and also my younger brother. He's 4 years younger to me.
Right. And he looks
But
like you almost.
sorry, Vivek, I lost you. I lost you in between.
I think he also looks like you.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of people get confused, and if you would have spoken to him, you would have said that, oh, he also sounds like you. So yeah, but we are 4.5 years or 4 years apart. So I don't know how
Right.
does that happen, but that's great. So I Anurag, in like one word, because this is again a reflection which I realized in the journey. Uh, that Anurag is something I would say that, Anurag is someone I would say that he is one of my spiritual partners in my organization, in my team, and in my company. And as a founder, as a founder, you actually always look for people, and forget about founder, like as even as a manager, as a team lead, right? Whenever you are in a leadership role, isn't it, Vivek? I'm pretty sure that you must have felt it in your career and life as well, that
Yep.
you always wish that I wish I could have had a clone in my team, isn't it?
Right. 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 Absolutely.
Right? Right? You just wish that, oh no, then I would not have to review this, right? If I had a clone, that person would have actually thought the way I think and would have reviewed and would have done the way actually I did. So I do not have to take care, right? So
right,
that botherance of, when you delegate a task, and then at the same time you are also you also have to be confident that the task is up to the mark, right? So you
right,
always have to spend your time and reviewing. So I would say that if there's one thing which I feel that I'm blessed to have Anurag as a co-founder, is that I can see I can see my clone in him. So which tells me that I can be rest assured of delegating a task and ensuring that, if he has done it, then he would have at least done it the way I find it good, if not
right,
exceeded it, right?
right,
And he always does it better. So as far as the role is concerned, Anurag takes care of the clients and the business side, along with Sanish, whom I've mentioned. So Sanish is my college friend and has been with us since our early years. So Anurag and Sanish, both of them, they take care of the business. And
right,
here's how I like to put it, that uh, Anurag Anurag takes care of the survival, and I take care of the soul. So the soul and survival. So that's how.
yeah, because
Yeah. So that's a.
yeah, I've come across Anurag via your Instagram stories and things like that. I don't know him personally.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I've always come across a feeling that he's a doer kind of guy. He's like a guy who goes
Yeah.
and does things, right? I've always seen him with team,
Exactly.
clicking
Exactly.
selfies.
Exactly.
doing-
And he is.
Right, right,
Yeah, and he's one heck of a creative genius, right? He's one heck of a creative genius. Like he has a great creative bent, and which also fits in and is like, you cannot just see him panicking at any given time, right? So we just joke around saying that Anurag is that guy. Let's say, even if there's a blast happening at his home or around his home, he'd be like, okay, TK, I'm alive. I can walk out. I mean, that's the kind of
yeah,
calmness you get out of Anurag,
right,
and
right.
which is essentially required. It's very much required. So
Like
I'm
one of
still
my friends.
waiting. I'm still waiting for the day.
Yeah, yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was saying that I'm still waiting for the day to see something which can actually make Anurag panic. I'm still waiting for that, and that has its cons as well, right? Because since you cannot, you know, panic Anurag, so you're always like, Anurag, the deadline is here. You've got to do it, and he's like, हो
That,
जाएगा, and हो
that's
जाता
that's bucket
है.
list item. Bucket list item. Panic Anurag. Right.
Yeah,
Like one of my friends here, Kamini, she's saying that you need somebody like that on every team. So that makes perfect sense. Right. So I wanna hear about some wins or some accolades which has come across these last 7 years. Some things you are really proud of. For Logical
Mhm.
India, not for yourself. I just read a long list of your
Absolutely.
achievements.
Nothing else, nothing like that. So I think, as I've already mentioned in our conversation so far, that uh, I have always been passionate towards bringing change, right? Changing something, fixing something which is not right. Media just happened to be the first thing I started up with, but I think my life's purpose will always remain to fix things which we feel isn't right, and essentially to leave the world better than we found it. So if you can actually leave the world better than you found it, I think that pretty much solves uh, why you were on Earth, why the hell you were on Earth, right? So with the Logical Indian, I think the one thing which I can, not one thing, a bunch of things which I certainly take pride is the level of changes what we were able to bring, out of which I said that the couple of them were policy level changes. Now it's
Right.
a huge thing to mobilize an online crowd,
Right.
because so I never, and Vivek, I mean, let me share this with you that this is also my fuel, because when I started the Logical Indian, I didn't have any background, so I what kept me going is the potential of digital media as a platform, right?
Right.
Because if you look at digital media, so if you can actually sense it, if my journey tells me that if you could actually sensitize people towards an issue which requires an attention, right, you can actually bring about policy level changes. So we partner with a lot of nonprofits, social sector, development sector organizations, a lot of civil society organizations, uh, and it's, to keep it short, what I have observed, what happens is that there's a typical, let's say there's a typical NGO, there's a NGO working on a cause, to champion a cause or fighting for a cause for over a period of, let's say, a decade, right?
Right.
And then we partner, we design a campaign, we strategize it, and let's say the campaign runs around 6 months or a year, or even it has lasted 1.5 years and 2 years also. Uh, and the sole purpose of that NGO's existence get resolved. So what didn't happen, or what couldn't happen in, we have seen this right through our campaigns, that what couldn't happen in 14 years, 1 4, what couldn't happen in 14 years happened in 14 days, happened in
Wow.
14 days, right? That's a
Right.
long story, and multiple instances, there are multiple, but essentially the thing is that it's not just story, as I tell you, right? It's not just a story, because when you tell a story, yes, oh wow, story, chalo, you move on to the next story, right? It's about continuing with the story, sensitizing the masses about, because I'm pretty sure, see, let's, a small typical example how things bring about change, right? Probably it will
Right.
help our audience understand that what exactly I'm uh, uh, mentioning about, right? So now
Right.
today, when I say acid attack, right? Now today, I'm pretty sure that you'd say, huh, acid attack is a mainstream thing, right? Because as of last year, a mainstream Bollywood actress decided to make a movie on it. So, and now it is certainly a mainstream topic, and I'm pretty sure that there would hardly be anyone today in 2020 or 2019 who would not be aware of, acha, acid attack karke bhi kuch hota hai kya, right?
Right. Right.
But let me tell you this, Vivek, right? 2013, sorry, 2014 was the first time I heard about acid attack, right?
Right.
And I always considered myself a very avid news reader, a news follower, and trying to keep myself up to date with what's happening in and around. I thought I am. And
Right.
2014 was the first time when I heard about acid attack, and the Logical Indian, probably the first, because I have not seen it anywhere else. So we did a series, right? We posted a series of, it was a photo shoot done by one of my very good photographer friend. Uh, so he organized a fashion show, with acid attack survivors,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so those pictures with that, like, acid attack survivors walking the ramp, when we posted it in 2014 on Facebook, that was widely spread and widely shared and accepted, and we were flooded with messages, what is this, how does this happen, and all those things. And we continued our coverage on acid attack as early as 2013, 2014, right? And then next year in 2016, we did a, we partnered with a nonprofit, Mumbai-based nonprofit, and Ogilvy as our creative partner. And we produced 3 videos. We were the cause partners to that. And that those videos, I think the name of the campaign was Beauty Tips with Reshma, right? So that was a beautiful campaign designed by Ogilvy and a nonprofit partner. And that campaign won the Cannes Lion Awards, right, in 2016, right? So now, so if I look at the journey, Vivek, am I with you or did I lose you? All right,
Sorry
I think
about that.
Vivek is back. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
All right. So yeah, I was just mentioning, Vivek, that so today, so this is the span. When you look at the span, you understand that you are able to sensitize people towards that. And we ran petition campaigns back then, right, which also helped bring about changes and ban of acid sale in quite a few cities in India. So when you sensitize people about a cause and then couple it with a call to action, you are actually able to mobilize the crowd, mobilize the community,
Right.
to bring about real change in the society, right? Right,
Absolutely.
and that continues to your behavioral change. So I think that is one thing which I would say, and that's probably the one thing, and everything else is on number two, right? So that is something, because you are able to, through that platform, right, and this platform carries the potential to bring about a lot more changes in our social structure, in our life, and in our society,
Right.
a lot of things. So that's one thing which I take pride the most,
Right.
as an outcome, and not just limiting ourselves to the story, but rather bringing about changes which are policy level changes, and also further as behavioral changes, which is very important.
Right. I think that's the ultimate prize. Forget about being an entrepreneur. As a human being, that's an ultimate prize when you are impacting somebody's life in that kind of scale. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Right. So I was doing some research on how your business works and things like that. So I could find that you guys are bootstrapped and you guys are solely dependent at the moment on ad revenues and articles, etc. So is that a conscious decision, or what's the motive behind that?
It's a combination of both. It's a combination of choice and compulsion.
Okay.
It's a combination of both. Yeah. See, it's really difficult. Certainly, as an, this is one way to look at it. As uh, I receive a lot of emails, and a lot of introductions as, oh wow, you are, running a bootstrapped company, and which is profitable now. That is a business case study, right? Uh, Now that's great, but that comes with, like, I mean, we understand how difficult it is, right, to build that. So in our early years, actually, we actually went out and tried to, actually, reach out to backers, right? But since it's early years, we faced a lot of rejections, where, uh, at first, I mean, see, rejections. What actually upsets me is, that there are foundations, those who are formed to back media initiatives, dedicatedly formed to back media initiatives. And their perspective of looking at us is, oh no, you are doing good. Why do you need funds? Oh, right. So yes, I'm still surviving, right? I'm still surviving, but probably with the funds. And organizations, those who are still in the ideation stage, they are open to fund them. That, oh no, 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 you are still there, your idea sounds good, take some grants and build your media platform, right?
Right. Right.
I do not know what goes into this, and what is that. And when, so we have faced a lot of rejections for, oh no, narrations like, no, you guys do not do ground reporting, so we cannot fund you. I'm like, sir, we need funds so that we can do ground reporting, right? So it was, I understand it was difficult for me to convince them in 2014, 2015, because we just started up, right? And they were
Right.
not confident that, okay, if we give you grants, how would you utilize, right? Are you just a website, just like other, website for the millennials, or what's your, and all those things. But now, after 6 years of it, when you know the intent, or when you can observe, when you have a historical data to trace and at least get an assumption ki nahi, ab tak agar apne pe kiya hai, तो probably you can have confidence. Still I have to answer those questions that, I do not. It's two ways. Either, no, you guys are doing well, you do not need funds, or no, you do not. Your stories are like, this, that, and all. I'm like, okay, so probably I'll have to prove myself. So it's fine, right? But no hard feelings. Probably, I might have got them wrong. So that's entire. And probably I would learn something new in coming years, which would help me and gain a new perspective, which currently I'm not able to gain that perspective. So that actually compelled us to stay bootstrapped. And secondly, so the till now what I was mentioning about was the foundations, those who are essentially formed to back, public, independent and public spirited foundations, those who are formed to back media startups or media initiatives.
Right.
So that's one front on the grant side, and the other front where from the traditional investors standpoint, I think it would not be wise to name them, but like the top three media houses, legacy media houses, if you can think of in India today, all three of them have, we have had, they offered to acquire us,
Oh, okay.
or invest, be a part of their group, and all those things. But so when I'm on the negotiation table, and when I say that, cool, but I want to run it independently, and the editorial choices and integrity, I do not want any intervention. So unfortunately, I'm still waiting for someone who would allow me not to intervene into the editorial operations. So
Right,
that is something where the lead never converts into deal.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah. So what?
that
But
doesn't.
what? Right. So
Which
what? I think whatever happens
yes.
happens for good. That's the basic premise to think
It
about it.
happens, but we are certainly actively reaching out for you know either HNIs, those who believe in us, what we have done, or the potential what we carry, or investors for that matter, those who actually believe in backing a startup. At the same
Right.
time, obviously, with no intention to intervene into the editorial or the operations for that matter,
Right.
because that's the vision, right? If making money was the sole point, then we would not have started with a Facebook page for that matter, right? So the intention is much larger. But at the same time, I understand, if you are an investor, if you're in VC, then if you are able to bootstrap and stay profitable, you can be rest assured of your ROI. So yeah, still waiting
Yep.
for that day.
Absolutely. So since I have you here, I want to pick your brain, give some insights for budding entrepreneurs and journalists. So my next question is a two-part question. The first question is your advice to budding entrepreneurs. It can be one,
That's
whatever you want.
sure. That's my favorite part, actually. I am actually fortunate to get opportunity to mentor a few startup founders, coach them on and off, and also be a part of Startup India, like through the Startup India initiative and all. Uh, what I feel essentially, if I say, advice to budding entrepreneurs, see, if you already take that leap of faith to be an entrepreneur, I do not think you need my advice. My
All
advice
right.
is actually limited to a student, or to a young professional who is still thinking, should I or should I not? Should I take that leap? Should I? Oh no, what would I say? Kya hoga, nahi hoga? It's my advice is just limited to that, right? If you have taken that leap, you do not need my advice, right? I took the leap of faith, and then the Logical Indian never had any mentors, any coach or advisors or consultants, nothing, right? Till date, it is all us, our gut feeling, and conscious and judicious call, what has taken us this way, and it will take you that way, right? So my advice to the probably the students or young professionals, those who want to be entrepreneurs, is something would certainly be that please go ahead. This world needs entrepreneurs. This world needs job creators, right? I know that it's a mindset problem, right? And I keep sending the mindset reminders on LinkedIn, because I feel that a mindset is the root cause of our problem. We are not brought, and it's not their fault, right? Our education curriculum. I'm not sure now with the new education policy what changes, but our education curriculum is never meant to nurture job creators, right? It is meant to nurture job seekers, right? Our
Right.
mindset is tuned in a way. Our core curriculum is meant in a way, right? So it requires a mindset change which you have to acquire from outside. The system will not offer you a mindset which tells you, right? So if you go to those, like, look at the problem in our mindset, and how can you blame young professionals or young students, those who are scared of starting something on their own, scared of being entrepreneurs, because they are not to blame. The system is here to blame, right? In your
Right.
college,
Right.
right? Take any college, take any university, right? When you join in your like day one orientation, uh, you know the people, those who are celebrated, or probably on your board, whatever it's written, the people, those who are celebrated are, it's usually always are, what, last year our batch got 98% placement, and this girl and this guy got placed in this company, and secured a package of 1 crore per month, per annum, whatever it is, right? Probably in the same batch there is a guy who couldn't crack the placements, right? Couldn't even probably complete his degree, but probably in the same batch, that guy is probably today employing or offering jobs to 30 odd people out there. That guy is
Right.
never celebrated, right? So
So
why
true. So
would you
true.
want to be? Because why would you want to be, right? So you always get, right, you get a Sachin Tendulkar, you get a Sachin Tendulkar when you have a Sunil Gavaskar. You get a Virat Kohli when you have a Sachin Tendulkar, right? So
Oh,
you need people to look up to, right? If you are always making those, oh, this guy got placement in Facebook, 1 crore highest package, my God, I want to be that, because that guy is celebrated, right?
right. Right.
So
Right.
that's something, right? Just take a leap of faith. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. If anyone wants to, reach out, have discussions, conversations, and I'm also planning much more, interactions. Let's see how my schedule looks, the turns out.
Right.
Would love to interact and probably boost them up, right?
That's
And
very
that was your
nice.
first part, right? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I lost track of the second part. Second,
Yeah. Second part is, what is your message to the aspiring journalists?
that's great. Um, keep it short. Aspiring journalists. I think I would say that. Um, Again, it's a mindset thing, because to me the root cause is still a mindset. I would say that, see, it's true for everyone, but specifically for journalists, because uh, I work with journalists, and journalists, reach me out, and they look up to. And when I see the problem when I observe the problem in the young workforce which is coming up, right? See, for all of us, for all the young professionals out there, one of the fundamental things what we need to understand today is, right, we are no longer living in an era where we can say, you know what, I'm good at this. I'm qualified. I did a job, right? The other day, just made a mindset reminder post where a few got offended, where I said that if you are unemployed, you are probably unemployable, right? So by unemployable, I do not mean that you are not skilled. You do not have the necessary education. Now, having a particular skill set is a different thing, and analyzing that whether that skill set is even on demand is a different thing, right?
Absolutely.
Right now, to keep it like specific for the journalists, right? uh, you may say that, you know what, I like writing. Great. But when you pass out, when you're done with your journalism course, if you find it difficult to find a job of, I'm just good at writing, because the industry has changed or is changing, right? We are no longer in print,
Right.
right? We need, so if you ask me, right, if I have two CVs, one CV tells me that I'm same academic qualification, let's say journalism or not, or whatever, right? But tells added skills as, let's say, creativity, right? Or good with photo editing softwares, or good with video editing softwares, right? I would certainly prefer that CV over someone who says I'm good at writing, right?
Right.
Because the industry has changed. Now we need a workforce who can have, like, especially for journalists. Now journalists cannot just stay limited to their journalistic skills. They need to acquire their creative abilities as well, if they want to stay in demand, right?
Right.
Because now, 10 years back, people were not consuming news using whatever, let's say Instagram. Today you are even consuming news from Instagram, right? And Instagram requires you to be creative, Snapchat requires you to be creative. If you do not know how to mold, so if you come with a journalistic background plus you have a sense of creativity, boom, please send me your CV, or drop me a message on LinkedIn.
Right. You
Right
heard it
now,
here.
yeah, right, we are really finding it difficult that, oh no, oh, you are just writer, okay, you write it and give it to the creative guys. Now the challenge with the creative guys are they do not come from a journalistic background, right? So
Right.
there is a loss in efficiency in the entire pipeline or in the process, right? But if you are that one girl, if you're that one guy who are, have journalistic ability, oh, great with proofreading, also have a sense of creativity, great, right? I do anything to offer you a job or to retain you, right?
Right.
So that would be one piece advice, that please come out of that mindset which tells you I'm good in writing, I'm good in
Right.
ground reporting. Come out of
Right.
that. Try to understand what is in demand, because what's in demand, if you're not acquiring that skill sets, you would find it difficult to get that job, because it's no longer in demand, right? We need creative abilities, we want you to be creative, because the consumption pattern has changed, the consumer
Right.
behavior has changed.
Right.
That's
Oh, that's a fantastic advice. Whoever is an aspiring journalist can pick up on the other skills which Abhishek just mentioned. Right. So, Abhishek, I have a couple of more questions because we have been shooting
sure,
over a lot of time of yours. My next
no
question
problem,
will
no
be,
problem.
yeah, my next question will be about, I saw your ad on LinkedIn, right? And you, it was such a fantastic moment for me. I showed my wife, I know him, I know him. Then it was like it passed. So I've never seen anybody
Thank
who
you,
I
thank
know
you.
on TV in an ad. So tell me a little bit about that campaign. I know you did a fantastic job working with people who are going through tough times, etc. So tell me a little bit about that, no?
Sure, sure, sure. I'd love to. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. So that so happened that, after the pandemic hit, I think from late April or May, dominantly May, I started receiving a lot of messages and emails on LinkedIn. I mean, emails and messages on LinkedIn, with for, let's say, helping them out, because layoffs and pay cuts were on the rise.
Yeah.
Uh, so, assistance, or let's say connections or job opportunities and all those bits. So what I thought, that initially I responded to each one of them personally on my messages, DMs. Uh, and then I thought, no, this should come out, because it was like getting overwhelming. So I made series of posts, and I thought that, what I can do to help them and all those bit. So I made a post on LinkedIn, saying that, what, when you are laid off, right? Because the problem is now, see, the human behavior is like that. When you are into the problem, then you start thinking that, oh shit, what could I have done, so, to avoid this, right? So what's done is done, right? If you're laid off, you're laid off, right? What you can do is to understand that how can you make yourself immune to layoffs, right? Because you just ask yourself this question, right? So whenever, so my post, the LinkedIn post which I made, it went something like, whenever, did you ever observe that whenever a company announces a layoff, uh, the entire workforce is not laid off, right?
Right.
The entire workforce is not laid off. So what it takes to be in the company's retention list and not to be in the layoff list, right? Did you ever think of that, right? Did you
Right.
ever think of that when everything was fine, right? Because then you do not think of it, right? Because layoff, yes, you lose job, right? But try to understand. So can you do something when you have a job? Can you do something to make sure that you are in the, you are always in the employer's retention list, right?
Right.
Because no matter what, right, unless the business is shut, right, any employer, any company would retain its, potential talents and
Right.
only lay off those who are not that potential, right?
Right.
So that's a mindset thing again, right, where you think of that. So and then, a lot of messages and emails, and then I conducted live sessions. I mean, not live sessions, Google Meet sessions, invite only Google Meet sessions, because it's again, I wanted to interact with people, those who are, probably facing pay cuts, or especially those who are laid off because they're not distressed and they have their family to support, right? There are people, those who are on salaries like, 20,000, 25,000 salary with a family of 4 or 5 to support, right? So helping them understand, and specifically because those skill sets, what I just mentioned, right? Those are not specific to any particular industry. Those are generic, right? You need to understand. So when you understand the employer mindset, or a manager mindset, or a leadership mindset, right? You would always make sure, right? You would always make sure. So, I receive funny questions like, oh, that thing though, you need to butter your boss, or you need to, keep your boss, impress your boss. Well, that's not the point. It's you know any employer, any boss, any manager, any team leader, they always want potential team members in their team, and only then, their output comes up, right? So there are a lot of, employability skills which are essential, which are like, irrespective of which industry you live in, right? Those are your professional abilities, or approach, or mindset, which is unfortunately, which lacks tremendously in our current workforce. If you just acquire those abilities, then at least I can assure that you can be 90% assured to be in a retention list, and not be on a layoff list, no matter how adverse is a company's condition, because company would lay off and then again, try to revive using that strength, and then again, hire. So that made me, so that somehow caught the attention of LinkedIn, and I received calls and invitation, I mean, emails from LinkedIn, asking me that if I would be willing to, feature on their ad, for helping, young professionals out there. I was like, okay, that's great, and that's certainly a great moment for me as well. That's how
Absolutely.
it
Absolutely.
happened.
Well deserved, and a lot of good work happened during that time. And I am pretty sure you're still doing all these things for people, because
I'm
it's
trying
it's
my
a
best. Yeah, it's overwhelming, but I'm trying my best to as many people as I can cater to and reach out to.
right. So my question, another question is, how this I ask every guest who is coming, because I started this during the COVID. So how has
Mhm.
COVID impacted you and Logical Indian? Has there any negative impact on the company, or was it okay or smooth sailing so far?
Certainly, Vivek, see, the impact of COVID, the impact of pandemic. I mean, this is something, I do not think that there's probably more than there would not be more than 10% of businesses, uh, those who, I mean, sorry, there would have been 10% businesses, those would have been either immune, or let's say, would have gained because of COVID. But across the globe, right, probably 90% of the businesses are impacted, and we are no exception to it. um, as we are bootstrapping, that becomes much more difficult, because we're not sitting on a cash pile, and our source of revenue is primarily through branded contents, advertisements, and branded contents. And brands, they obviously, they have cut short their marketing spend, their marketing budgets, because they are finding it difficult to pay their employees. So obviously they would not, that comes after cutting short your marketing budget, right? So it has been tremendously difficult for us. Has been impacted in a very adverse way. But I think when you ask that, how it has impacted uh, us as a business. See, you know, I see this in like this through two lenses. One is the impact. One is the impact, right? And I think it's the ability of your leadership skills uh, to cushion the impact, right?
Right.
That is right. So you can say, oh, we have been, there are businesses those who can say, hey, we have been impacted adversely through due to the pandemic, and hence we have to lay you off. We cannot afford you, and this and that, and you see, oh, impact of the pandemic. But again, I think this is a time where a lot of entrepreneurs are facing challenges where this is a time when you actually prove your leadership skills, that how you are, to what extent you are able to cushion the impact of pandemic in your organization, because it is very crucial, right? And I'm very contented, and it gives me a great sense of satisfaction that despite the like devastating impact of pandemic on our business, I feel satisfied and contented that till date, you know, we did not have to ask any of our employee to uh, go and leave us. All right. So there has been no layoffs in our company till date. I'm not sure what future holds, uh, but that is something which matters, which has impacted, and to an extent that also the pay cuts in our organization, the pay cuts are the it's only the senior leadership and the middle layer of leadership which has taken the pay cut. The entire layer of non-managers, uh, till date, there has not been even a pay cut for our non-managers. So that's something which I take pride, take satisfaction, and in saying that to an extent, we are able to match that despite the
Yeah.
impact. And one of the things which why we feel that we are able to do that is also because this is something which I thought I would just mention in the beginning, but I somehow missed. I like the name when you say the thrifty marketer, right? Because I can relate to it with the kind of frugality we have run the organization. Because when you are bootstrapping, when you are, and at the same time, you are ensuring that uh, your employees and your workforce is being taken care of. You have to be thrifty and you have to be frugal in your approach, and that has helped us at this point in time with a consistent approach and effort to keep our overheads low, and to ensure so that the team is always safe guarded, right? So
Right.
that's the impact. I do not know, like, until you can tell me that when is the vaccine coming out, I cannot give an I cannot give you an assurance that
Right.
how the future looks like. Like I can say that I cannot even predict how the next 2 months or 3 months look like, right?
Right. Right.
But
So
so far, I think this is something which is great. I believe that despite the difficulties and despite the economic impact and the recession and the economic impact on our company as well, I'm happy and satisfied that we have not you know we did not ask any of our employees to go back, and we had not laid off any of our employees, to an extent that non-managers are also drawing 100% of their salaries without a pay cut, right? We'll keep trying our best.
fantastic, fantastic. I'm pretty sure things will be better soon, and that's why I avoid asking the future question to the company angle. But I do have a future question for you. So,
Oh,
what
sure.
more can we expect from Abhishek as an entrepreneur?
Great. All right. Thank you for asking that question. Um, Abhishek as an entrepreneur. See, I think I've already mentioned Vivek a bit of a trait. What I always, what I feel that this is something which uh, I have always been passionate, and I see myself, being passionate from my college days at least. Passionate about solving problems, identifying problems and solving problems. Media happened to be the first one. So I think you can expect me. I do not have um, you know any plans as of now, but if I know myself, I can tell you that whatever I would be doing, or whatever I would be venturing into, uh, it would always be about solving a major problem, resolving a major problem, and doing something to leave the world better than we found it. That's it.
Right. Thank you. I think the world need more Abhisheks
Oh,
as
that's a huge
for it to
statement.
be a better place. Yeah, because it's been fantastic because I've been wanting to bring you on this show for a long time. I
I
know
know,
I've
I
been
know. I'm sorry for the long chase you have to make.
it's worth the wait, and I'm pretty sure it was pretty inspiring for me. All the words coming out of your mouth and the way you're thinking, it's been really inspirational. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
I'll
you,
be in
Vivek, and
touch.
I should thank you for giving me this opportunity. And also, I think the way I know you, and I want to take this opportunity to, thank you and express my gratitude. That the way I know you is only through the appreciation or comments or encouragement comments which you send out to me, right? And I remember that, uh, you know. The way I knew you, because we have been interacting on like Instagram and Facebook from quite some time now, and I have always found you encouraging, and to be it any event or any comment and encouraging, and so that is something which I want to thank you, Vivek, because that means a lot, because when you are into so many things, right, and you have so much responsibilities to shoulder, I'm pretty sure that a lot of entrepreneurs would feel that it actually fills you with a sense of it's something which I cannot express. It's beyond words. A simple encouragement or appreciation saying that, oh, you are doing great, that was great, keep going, keep up the good work. These words mean a lot, right?
Right.
And I have always found you encouraging throughout our journey, and through all the milestones, small achievements, big milestones, whatever it is. Thank you so much, Vivek, for always being supportive and always encouraging me personally. I want to thank you for that, Vivek.
All right. Thank you so much, Abhishek. I'll be in touch with you and keep doing the fantastic work. And say my regards to Anurag and family.
Thank you.
Take care.
Absolutely,
Stay.
absolutely. You too. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Vivek. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Such a long interview, but I don't mind even a minute of it. We faced some technical difficulties in between, but what a guy. What a guy, right? Uh, I want to meet more people like this who are inspiring and who wants to bring change in this world, right? We people might say we are living in a crazy, crazy world, but no, I don't agree to that. It's what we make of it. So, looking forward to see you all next week. We are saying goodbye to July, August, more guests, more topics. See you all. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye bye.